Hello, founders. If you caught me in the last video, you saw me be birthed into the metaverse. This is a landmark, a world first moment for me. I'm pretty sure for startups.com. Startups.com went in the metaverse. In the last video, I have the founder and CEO, Hassan. He joined me in the metaverse. If you watched that, we had just a little technical glitch. I hit the wrong button at the wrong time, but now we're going to have this amazing conversation. I'm super excited to talk about the metaverse, how it's going to relate to startups. It's hot these days. Obviously, we know the news about Facebook turning into Meta. There's been a lot of speculation what's going on. The markets have kind of tanked out, everything in crypto, but Web3, people are exploring these things. And it's interesting how we're kind of on this precipice of this next, when Web 1.0 and then 2.0 and now Web 3, it's going to be an interesting conversation. So I just want to point out right here, we're going to be talking about how to launch your own metaverse destination in minutes, how this is built for businesses and the applications, because obviously a lot of people are talking about what this means to, go in and as a consumer, but what about the B2B applications? It is that simple. You saw me do it. So there's the proof, the proof of life, the proof of concept going on. You customize your own avatar. We'll talk about all these things. Once again, you saw me actually do this. Xureal just came out of stealth mode. This is the reason I'm so excited. I feel like I'm part of this inaugural launch. I get to cut the ribbon with Xureal, and we've been talking for some time, and here are the upcoming features. So again, I can't express how excited I am, but I just want to say it's great to see you again, Hassan. Welcome. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me, Ed. Appreciate it.
Okay, so let's go into the basics first. And normally I would ask for you to kind of pitch your startup, but I want to start off with the whole concept of the metaverse. So to you, how do you define the metaverse?
So I do take a very pragmatic view to the metaverse, right? There's no one definition of the metaverse. Everyone interprets it very differently. The way I do explain it to the people I know and our customers is, think of the metaverse. The metaverse it's not as scary. A lot of people don't understand it, so they're scared of it. All it is the next evolution of the internet. Okay. In very simple terms, today's internet is very 2D, meaning you go into a website, it's a 2D plane with information on it. Think of the metaverse as websites turning into environments you can walk in and through. So imagine your Instagram feed is 2D, but now in the metaverse, those photos and all that content is going to be mapped in a 3D virtual environment. So you can actually consume the same content, but in a more immersive social way. So that's basically, so obviously there's a lot more to it, but in a nutshell, the metaverse is just the next evolution of the internet, and it's going to open the doors to new possibilities in how we work together, how we communicate with each other, and how we interact with one another.
I'm interested in how you differentiate, distinguish, or even compare metaverse and virtual reality.
Yeah, of course. So virtual reality is just a medium, right? It's like saying the internet is an iMac, right? So virtual reality is just a system, a medium in which 3D content is delivered. So you could have a virtual reality experience with a VR headset or even on a computer. You don't even have to have a VR headset, but the metaverse does not equate to virtual reality, because the virtual reality is a very specific medium. The metaverse is so much more than that.
Okay. I compared it when I went in to the days when I played World of Warcraft and I got to become an orc and, different things like that. And, go in, I could talk to my friends and, it was like a video game. So in your mind, how is this now different than the MMORPGs that we're used to as hardcore gamers? For you, what's the difference with this metaverse compared to the gaming industry?
There's really no difference. It's just it's the use case that changes, right? So if you think about it, uh, games in the metaverse are going to be very similar to what you just mentioned in the game industry, but at work, you're still in a 3D environment, but the use case is completely different. The tools that you would have available to you would be relevant to the task at hand. So I hate not hate I dislike calling the metaverse a game, or people thinking that a virtual environment is a game. It could be gamified, but it's not a game necessarily. So I do tell my clients it's basically an experience, and I believe Roblox does this as well. They don't call their apps games; they call them experiences. So what the metaverse is, what you can do, what our platform can do, basically, is allow you to create destinations, or what we call websites in today's web, destinations inside of the metaverse. So no one owns the metaverse. Facebook doesn't own the metaverse. No one owns the metaverse. It's like saying who owns the internet, right? No one owns the metaverse. The metaverse is going to be this open, persistent world where you can build experiences in, and we're building the tools for you to be able to create your very small, practical metaverse destination experiences.
And not only that, with Web3 technologies, things like blockchains, NFTs, you can actually have verified ownership of assets in the metaverse as well. That's another difference with what's
Correct.
happening today. Now, question if, I might be dating myself, but back in the day, there was another kind of metaverse type project, and it was called Second Life. And where you could go in and create and build things and get land, and people were making lots of money for a time being. And then I think it expanded to space and different things like that. What's the difference now between what happened back then with something like Second Life to what you see happening today?
It was too early. It was too early. But if you see Second Life type of applications everywhere nowadays. So I think that honestly, that was just the very beginnings of what we're seeing today. I think it was too early at the moment. But there's really no difference right now. This is where they wanted to be many years ago. But like I said, the hardware wasn't there, the software wasn't there, and the interest wasn't there really from a mass perspective.
Okay. And what I'm seeing, well, let's talk about your company and what you do. I'm basically comparing you to like a CMS that made websites easy for companies to create. So way back in the day, and I was part of this, Web 1.0. If you wanted to create a website, you were coding on Notepad, and then you had like WYSIWYG editors, like Front Page and everything, but you still needed to be a pretty good expert, and you need to be able to hack away at code. And then comes along CMS or companies where you just click a button and then poof, website with all the bells and whistles and everything like that. So now everybody can have a website. You're pretty much doing the same thing. You're allowing any company to just click a button and create a metaverse. Am I wrong, or how'd I do?
Good, close enough.
Okay.
So we have to be very careful. We are not allowing people to create a metaverse. It's like saying we're allowing people to create an internet, right?
Gotcha.
We are allowing people to create metaverse destinations, metaverse experiences, a metaverse space. So someone will eventually coin that, whatever that is, or maybe every company will call it something different. But you're right. So eventually what we want to become is the Squarespace of the metaverse, where in a very few and simple steps, you can create your own metaverse destination in minutes, literally, and then customize it via a content management system.
Fantastic. So same thing as if I want a digital presence and create a website, I click a button that exists on the internet. It's the same thing. I can create a presence, an experience, a destination, and invite people to it in the metaverse. That's how
Correct.
you would define it. Okay.
Correct.
So let's go back into your history. How did you get into this? Like, what were you doing before? Like, this is really cool stuff. Like, this is futuristic. Like, and I just want to want to say, and I don't want to talk so much because I want to give you as much time to talk because I'm super fascinated, but I know a lot of times people are comparing the metaverse to Ready Player One. And there's a lot of, and I'm hoping that you can comment on it, because there's a lot of people poo-pooing the metaverse because they're dragging on it because it's all about dystopian future and we're gonna, get away from real life. But there's also this really hopeful aspect. Like, I guess there's the cyberpunk aspect, dystopian corporate, and people living in virtual reality and doing all this stuff. But there's a hopeful aspect to it as well, kind of like a new frontier, a new way to connect, to experience, to have experiences, etc. Similar to what the web did. So walk me through how you got into this and what is your personal vision and outlook on the metaverse?
Yeah, of course. So we're nowhere close to a Ready Player One type of situation here. That's literally 15 years into the future. So I would not worry about that at all. Right now, we're just building the foundational blocks of what the metaverse will become. And what it will become, I have no idea. I hope it's for the better of humanity. I hope, and I do think it's going to elevate people to their highest potential eventually. But I don't like to speculate in terms of what it will become in 10, 15 years from today, because honestly, no one, whoever does, they have no idea what they're talking about. We started out about almost 9 years ago as a small UI UX shop. It was literally me and my husband at the time. And we started the business in a one-bedroom apartment in Washington, D.C. And so my background is in design, by the way. So I'm a designer, UI UX designer, and I was creative director for many agencies before starting my business. And that's how I started. And we got a really big project. We got a break. And we moved to Orlando just because it's a lot cheaper to do business here. So I've been living here since then. And I started working on a lot of services, pro services world. So basically a client would come to us and ask us to build an experience, build innovation centers, building a lot of very technical type of applications that require a lot of UI and UX. And very slowly, I started realizing that this whole agency world is really messed up from a business perspective, because it's a never-ending treadmill,
Absolutely.
right? And I felt that every time we got a new project, we had to start over from the beginning. It didn't feel like a very scalable, efficient business to have. So what I started doing was, every time we had a client come up to us with a solution they wanted to build, I would tell them, hey, listen, we're going to build this for you almost at cost or half the cost of what anyone else would charge you for it, but we get to also own the technology. So next time we got a customer that wanted something similar, we had a foundation. And we did this a lot throughout many years. And next thing you know, we had this arsenal of technology that we owned that we kept repurposing and repurposing. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I started really looking into virtual reality, augmented. I'm fascinated by augmented reality more than anything. And we started building very small apps in terms of AR. And this was 5 years ago. And it kind of snowballed, the idea of mixed reality and whatnot. And we started building these very small apps that kept connecting to each other, or started talking to each other in a way where it wasn't a single app now. It was more of a bigger thing, a bigger piece of software. And at some point, we were able to sell this software to a client on a licensing fee basis. And that's where things really started to take off. Then the pandemic hit, and our business boomed because everything went virtual. So actually, the pandemic years were one of the best years that we've had as a business. And we use that time and those funds we were getting from our customers to build and build and build a platform. So literally, we are reinvesting 100% of all of our revenue back into the business. As you know, Ed, we're self-funded, so we haven't taken any money from anyone. So it's definitely been a very bumpy ride, to say the least.
Well, fantastic. But now you've got a thriving business that you have 100% control over. You have options now. You didn't have anybody breathing down your neck. You could build it the
Right.
way that you wanted. Let's go back. So you've been building not metaverses, but the ability for businesses to take advantage of metaverse technology and to create destinations and everything. For how long now have you been doing this?
4 years.
4 years. And
Mm.
while you're doing that, you're building up your own intellectual property, your own assets, and eventually you're totally productizing what used to be a custom service, and now you're going to put it out there. And that's what this whole launch, you've been flying in stealth to allow people to create their own destinations on the metaverse. And here we are in this moment. That's where you are at this time.
Correct. And the notion of our business comes about because of this need of almost democratizing metaverse experiences of sorts in the business arena. So if you think of our company, think of it as a bridge, right? We do not work on VR headsets, and that is by design. Right now, there's way too much friction in the B2B side. I do understand that gamers and people use a lot of VR headsets for personal use, and I have nothing against them. In fact, I use my Oculus all the time. But from a practicality point of view, it's just not ready for businesses, I don't think. We work with enterprise customers with 5, 10, 20, 50, 60,000 employees. And it would be a complete nightmare for them to deploy that many VR devices, VR headsets to employees, download apps, IT support, what happens when they break, what happens when the application doesn't work. So businesses are not there. And I'm trying to, and it seems like every business out there is just running that way. And I get it. It's immersive, it's fun, it's a wonderful experience. It's just not practical for businesses today. And I feel like we are one of the few companies who truly understands business needs, and we want our metaverse destinations to really provide business results, right? KPIs. We attach everything we do to a business solution. It's not just the fun of it. Oh, put this VR headset on and have fun type of situation. It's more, what kind of business problem can we solve for you? So we're 100% web-based. Our application, you can run it on any browser. That took a lot of time to figure out, especially with the quality of the graphics I use. So in our destinations, our graphic quality is much higher than most experiences out there. And we've been working really hard to solve business needs. So think of us as a bridge between now and 10 years when VR headsets do become the norm. Someone has to fill that gap in between. And that's what we're doing with Xureal.
And I would compare you, but make some big distinctions between some of the other Web3 projects that are out there. Like, for example, Decentraland. For those who don't know, Decentraland is, quote, a metaverse, built on a blockchain. But the problem is the accessibility. So it's more for consumers who are all into crypto. You got to own the crypto. Like the use case for business, what you're arguing for B2B applications is not there. It's still at a very innovator or very early adopter stage. You're making your technology accessible for the mom and pop shop or the big brand, the Fortune 500 company, the small and medium enterprise, to be able to click a button and get into the metaverse.
Absolutely. And we're making it, we built our UI to be extremely human-centric and very familiar. we're always asking ourselves, how can we build familiarity into our platform so people don't feel so afraid of it or alienated when they see it? And that's one of the main reasons we're not even touching Web3 at all. We're not getting into crypto. We're not getting into NFTs. We're not getting into the blockchain. Not because we don't believe in it or we don't want to. We do, and that is the future of our platform eventually. But businesses are still trying to understand what the metaverse is. Imagine if you throw crypto to them as well, and NFTs and blockchain, it's just too much. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me sometimes. So we want to really, I don't want to say dumb it down, but I want to start introducing the concept of the metaverse to businesses in a very simple manner that they understand, that they get, and start evolving from there.
You're making it accessible. Let's
Exactly.
talk about some of the use cases without giving details, because I know a lot of stuff you've been flying under the radar, etc. Let's just talk about general size of your company. If you can, just give me some general numbers. How much revenue do you do per year, and how many employees do you have?
Yeah, sure. I will not disclose the revenue aspect of it.
Yep.
But we are a very small team. We are 12. We are 12 people team. Designers, 3D artists, project managers, UI UX designers, and strategy basically. We are based out of Orlando, Florida. We have been around for almost a decade. Yeah.
And what are the types of clients that you've been serving? And generally speaking, what types of applications have they been building with you? What are the use cases?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, most of our clients are enterprise level companies. The idea is that once we do launch the site, that anyone can sign up, any type of businesses. But the main use cases that we've seen for our technology are employee engagement and retention. So for remote teams to actually come together into the metaverse to either collaborate, to have a meeting, to for onboarding purposes, they onboard new employees through our platform. They even hire. We had a client actually have a job fair of sorts in the metaverse, and basically it was very, very cool. People were able to attach their LinkedIn profiles and resumes to their avatar, so the company, the HR manager, could actually see all of the candidates in the metaverse with all of the information, and then they could have private huddles. So an HR manager could, hey, Ed, come with me over here in the metaverse. Let's talk about let's do a quick interview type of situation, and it was a very, very immersive experience. Another use case is sales. We have a lot of clients that are using our technology to sell their products to customers. So imagine being able to be in a house, in a virtual home with products in it, and have your clients actually walk into that virtual house with you as a sales rep, and have demonstration of products in 360, in augmented reality, in virtual reality, have a conversation in the metaverse. So sales is a big one for us as well.
And not just that, but sales training as well. So training the people who are going to be doing the sales, because I saw you were able to show, and we don't want to give away all your secrets, but you've got the ability to put like the things that we're selling, like the prototypes, into a 3D space and go into it and do product education before you go out and sell it, and then use the same things to sell to customers if you want to do that in the metaverse.
100%.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I'm absolutely stunned and astounded. I gotta just my compliments to you and your team. It's making me emotional just thinking about it right now, because like this, how smooth it was. I didn't have to like, now back to my wasted, World of Warcraft, which really wasn't a waste. I learned a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff, but about the future. But I had to sit, and either I had to buy a box full of like 5 CDs and then or I had to go and sit there and let a client, a web client, download something for literally 18 hours before I could get all the assets, use all the thing. So the fact that it was so smooth and it was via web browser, like, now I've been around, but it's an astounding achievement. And I just want to say kudos. You must,
Thank you.
how does it feel to be in this spot, watching this come alive and ready to launch?
Definitely a lot of excitement, nervousness, really,
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I'm not sure if people are going to uh, receive it the way I think they would. They will. We are very optimistic in here, of course. Um, but yeah, to your point, we really want to build a frictionless type of experience, and I believe that's what we've done. So we'll see how people use it, how they like it, and but yeah, super excited.
Okay, so let's talk. We're part of the startups.com community. We've been interacting. I've sent lots of founders your way to talk about metaverse and different things like that. You've been very generous with your time, and we've been talking about kind of like the future. What advice would you give? So let's not talk about the founders or talk to the founders that want to do Web3 projects and what have you. Let's talk about the founder that's got some product or software or different things like that. How could they take advantage of Xureal and a destination on the metaverse? Let's dream and give them some advice.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were to create a destination with Surreal, you could use it in many ways. And that is a beautiful thing about our platform that is so malleable and flexible and dynamic that you can really use it for whatever you want. One of the use cases that we use a lot internally in our company is to meet there. So every time we have a meeting, we have it in the metaverse. Every time we, for example, with you, I had one earlier, our clients do, we meet with our clients in the metaverse. Another one is collaboration. So when you're working with remote teams, instead of having a whiteboard on Zoom or whatnot, we would do that in the metaverse. So we collaborate a lot in the metaverse. So I do see the use for small teams, the use of the platform for small teams, as well as enterprise level customers with analytics and whatnot.
Okay, I can imagine. So a startup has got, this is a cool experience. So a startup is got some contractors and maybe a distributed team. They would say, okay, I'm going to create a destination on Xureal, send that link, meet me in the metaverse, and it's just a unique experience to differentiate yourself. That's the first thing. The second thing I can imagine is then customers. So later on, as you develop, like, in essence, I can customize my own destination, my own space. I'm sure you're going to give us access to 3D artists and modelers. Like, there's going to be a whole marketplace that can get created. So I can find someone to, make me my sign, or, you probably have features, things like that. And then I can do things like, hey, come to this experience in the metaverse. I'll demo my product. We'll do sales presentations. And it's just something different. It's a differentiator for the sales experience, for the customer experience, possibly to build community. How am I doing as far as brainstorming different ways to use it?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the uses too is brand awareness. So Chipotle released a metaverse experience in Roblox. So did Spotify. So did Nike. So there is a future where brands, instead of sending their customers to a 2D website, they send them to the metaverse, where Nike will sell their shoes in the metaverse, where you can see that shoe rotating. You can actually customize it in the metaverse. You can see it in augmented reality. You can put them on with augmented reality, come back to the metaverse, and continue that experience. So that is basic. That's one of the use cases that I'm the most excited about. To see how people really can transform their own spaces into businesses, or even if you wanted to do a podcast. Imagine the scenario where you're in this metaverse, you invite all of your followers, and you do the podcast in the metaverse, and everyone's actually looking at you, talking, and doing your thing. And then after that, you can interact with them. You can talk to each other. They can ask questions. So I do think that there's so much potential, and I just kind of wait to see what people do with it.
Actually, I didn't think about the podcast idea.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic idea. I'm thinking that for brand experiences, it's really great because, for example, the next level that I see is, and I was explaining this to a group of founders, and I was saying, okay, say you've got your Marvel superhero characters and you really like the Incredible Hulk, right? And it's one thing to interact with them by watching them on screen and then, buying the lunchbox or what have you, but to actually then go in and I want to spend more time with Hulk in his world, go to his home, all these things. So you can extend the brand experience. So extension of the brand experience.
Mhm.
The next thing is, I think psychologically speaking, I'm curious what your thought is. If I'm thinking about human nature and behavioral science and all the things that I've learned through the years, I can already go on a website and see a 3D spinning shoe, right? Like that's not new, but
Mhm.
I can't go into an environment with a 3D spinning shoe where someone is there. It's almost like you're at through the metaverse, you can rehumanize that 3D spinning shoe experience. That's what I'm picking up. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. Some people say, they talk about the metaverse and they think of the metaverse and they think player ready, ready player one, and everyone is isolated in this world, but it's the opposite, really. I feel like we're gonna be able to interact more with each other through the metaverse. Let me give you a quick example to follow up in what you just said. If you're looking at a 3D shoe in a metaverse environment where there's other people in there, instead of reading reviews, you could quite literally ask someone, "Hey, do you own this shoe?" And they say yes, or well, what is your experience with it? Oh, I love it. Oh no, I hated these shoes, but this one is really cool over here. And then you go over there and you actually see the shoe, look at the shoe, and you see pricing, and you can try it on with augmented reality. So the way we will be communicating in a few years from today is going to be very different. I do think it's going to be a game changer.
You just sparked crazy ideas. So, for example, say you're Nike. Okay, Nike, I hope you're listening. You got Nike and these cool prototype shoes, or really any company, let's say, is launching a type of product. So let's say they've got a new, they want to be the Nike killer and they got this new shoe product. They can model those shoes, okay, inside and create a metaverse destination, put the 3D models in there. You could do it where if someone actually buys the shoe, they get the rights to wear the shoe in the metaverse destination, walking around. Then other people come, wow, you're wearing that shoe. Let me get to know you, what type of person that you are. They have interactions through that immersive experience. That company's selling shoes. That's what we're talking about.
Absolutely. So let me give you a few other examples. So think about it in terms of uh, one of the things is in the roadmap to integrate Shopify into our platform. So as soon as so let's say that you have a Shopify store, right, with all of your products. We're going to build an integration where you can bring all of those products into the metaverse seamlessly. That is the goal. So that's something that we're working on. But more than that, think about also thinking about this hybrid behavior of how the metaverse affects the real world and how the real world affects the metaverse. Imagine you are Nike, all right? But instead of going to a metaverse experience, you go to the Nike store or one of the stores that sell Nike shoes. And I do see that in the future, when you buy, let's say you go to Target, Target.com, and you buy a product in Target.com, that product could come with an NFT. So you
Yes.
say, but with the purchase of this product, you also get an NFT version of this shoe. And once you do that, you can bring that shoe into our world. So not only I do see the use of NFTs, the future of NFTs as a solution to connect the real world with the virtual one. Honestly, every time you buy something physical, you get a virtual counterpart that you can use in your world and resell it.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so there's a whole e-commerce side of this equation that needs to be explored.
Yes, absolutely. You could, if you're selling certain products, you could model it, put the virtual, like digital twinning, you know, which a lot of people tried to do. So you put
Yeah.
that and then you just click on it and, you know, like it expands and you can customize it and then order it and it goes right to your Shopify and they ship it to you like crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's exciting time.
And the beauty of our platform, Xureal's platform at least, is that because it is web-based, it is basically a website. It is technically speaking, it's a website. So it could be indexed by Google like a website. Unlike Roblox and all of these other companies building this VR experience, you have to download an app. Those apps cannot be indexed. So imagine a Google to search metaverses. That's what we're building. So if you type in white shoe, we're going to show you all of the metaverses that have that tag in them. I'm going to tell you these are all the places where you can find a white shoe or buy a white shoe. And because we're also web-based, we can do programmatic advertising. So all of those Google ads that you see on 2D websites, you could see them on a building in 3D in a metaverse. So let's say you have a building and you have a banner on your virtual building, you could actually have Google ads display there and make money. So all of that is possible because of what we've built, and all of it is web-based.
Hassan, you're blowing my mind, man. You are blowing my mind. You are right. The more you talk, the more I go, this is the next internet. Like this is the next frontier.
Yeah.
All this stuff existing in 3D where everything was 2D. And you're thinking like in 4D, like the future. And you know, it just so tell me what's the challenge that you've got? So let's get down to you as a founder. What challenges are you experiencing as a founder, and what are you exploring as far as what to do about them?
For me personally, one of the challenges that I have, because I am self-funded, is that unlike companies that are fully funded, I have to make money.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to build a platform and also do business development, bring customers in, service those customers and their specific needs while also building a technology, a platform. So it is very challenging and very taxing. But I feel we're getting to a point where hopefully the revenue generating aspect of it will be figured out by either getting funded or getting more customers once we go live.
The tension is palatable, right? When you're trying to build a company and you're balancing out, it's just you're living in that tension. But there had to have been many opportunities for you to take funding. I'm sure people probably looked at your technology and they're like, either I want to buy you,
Yeah.
do you need money? Let me get in on this action. You know, type thing. Why haven't you taken any funding up to this point in time?
Very simple. It's never been about the money for me. It's been about having the right partner. And I felt that a lot of these people wanted to get in because of the hype, because of they just wanted to make money. And that's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I want to make money. All of us want to make money.
Sure.
But what I didn't want to happen is have someone that would change the path, forge the path of our platform solely to make the money back, right? There is a long path ahead that we have a roadmap. And if we do take money, the person that, or the people, the company, organization that funds us has to be aligned with our roadmap and understand where we're going. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep hustling it.
Hassan, if I had the dry powder, I'd write you a check right now. So, okay, so we're on the right track. Then I gotta believe, and tell me if I'm wrong here, that one of the benefits of you living in that tension of having to work with clients and develop your technology at the same time is that you're learning the lessons of business cases, what businesses need as you're servicing clients, and that's informing development. It just seems like a natural byproduct of this tension that you're experiencing.
100%, 100%. You're absolutely right. And every feature that we've built we know a lot of companies out there building, friends of ours and semi-competitors, who are building these metaverse experiences as well. And the problem is that they are funded, they get millions of dollars in funding, and sure, they hire these really big teams because the funds are there, and it's all about growth, and they start building this platform without any use case yet, because they believe people are gonna like what they're building, but they don't really know. Whereas we are forced, literally forced, to think about whatever our clients request of us. We have to think, okay, how does this fit into the metaverse, and how do we build it? And every time we build a feature that has been requested by one of our clients, all of our other clients benefit as well. And they're like, oh yeah, I didn't know I needed this, but you're right, this is great. So it has been a very, very interesting way to build this platform. Whereas it's 50% client driven and 50% our vision.
For sure. I was interviewing another founder who has a platform for deploying apps, low code and high code. And he was talking about how the future, the biggest trends are going to be being able to help companies build things. So whereas, like, for example, I could think like Nintendo, right, could easily go and create a video game that's kind of a metaverse. Everyone wants to compete with Roblox and everything like that. But where you are different is that you're acting as that bridge. Business cases, you're helping companies get into this space. And I think that a lot of other entertainment companies, ones that are trying to create those experiences, are ignoring that aspect, whereas you're completely focused on what is the use case, the utility of what we're doing.
Absolutely. One example of that is the admin console that we've built. We have built, so the experience is one thing, the 3D environments, the avatars, the spatial audio communication, all the things you can do in the metaverse, that's in your metaverse experience is amazing. But the other side of the equation is the business side of it, right? Analytics. So we have an entire huge analytics engine that we've built that tracks every event within your own space. So you can see how people are behaving in your metaverse destination, what people are doing, what kind of content they're consuming. So just like you can track someone's content consumption on a website, you can do the same thing in the metaverse through our platform. On top of the analytics engine that we built, we also have an entire content management system where you can control and manage all of the content in your metaverse. We have a media library. We have a user management feature as well, where you could see all of the users inside of your metaverse, not necessarily by name, but you can actually see their and track their behavior and whatnot. If you are a company utilizing our platform for employee retention and engagement and training, then you do get to see those employees listed there. We have Sso Integration. We have built this whole thing from the ground up, thinking about how businesses will use it.
How to use the metaverse to achieve your business objectives.
Correct.
That's what's going to move the needle and get businesses signing up. If it helps them achieve their objectives, not just exist because, well, it could be fun.
Yeah. Every time we get a new customer asking questions about our platform and what it can do and whatnot, the first question I always ask is, what business challenges do you have today, and how do you think we can solve those problems?
That's amazing.
I tell them, I am not gonna, if you're gonna buy a metaverse experience from me for no reason, I'm not gonna stop you. But I'm gonna tell you that if the metaverse doesn't solve all of the problems, at least not today. So I do tell my clients, listen, it seems to me that the problem you have cannot be solved by what we're offering. So there's always that sense of being honest and transparent, and selling our technology to customers that actually need it and solve a real business problem for them.
I love it. Okay, I got two more questions and then we can, wrap this up. One, what's your opinion about Facebook going into Meta? You're probably tracking on what they're doing much more than I am. Without, like, this isn't a Facebook bashing session, but I like to try and bash Facebook every chance that I get because, I've got a complicated relationship with Facebook. But what is your opinion about Facebook's move to become Meta? There's been people who are for it, people who've been against it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So I have two feelings. There's a feeling about Facebook and the way they do business, and there is this feeling that I have about their vision of the future. So the latter, I'm very optimistic about. I'm very, very happy, excited, optimistic about Facebook's roadmap on the metaverse. Someone has to take on it. I'm a little nervous about their approach to it, but somehow someone has to get the ball rolling, right? So I'm very excited that a company like Meta has taken the steps and is investing the amount of money that it is to make the metaverse happen. I believe it's really up to us to really build frameworks and standards so we don't repeat the same mistakes of Web2, right? So obviously decentralization, interoperability, all of those things are extremely important, but the challenge is that Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon, all of these companies need to come together and work together, right? So the biggest challenge that I see about the metaverse is not necessarily a technological one, because I know that we're capable. I mean, we're sending rockets to the moon and hopefully Mars soon, so I am not worried about not being able to figure this out from a technical perspective. I know we will eventually. It's more a matter of how do the most powerful companies in the world work together to actually make it what we want it to be, right? This open, decentralized space that is not really owned by anyone. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm not very optimistic about that. I'm not very optimistic about that happening with Facebook or Apple or any of them. So I guess
Yes.
we'll see.
And that's the reason there's a big allure when it comes to Web3 and the decentralized applications and, what Bitcoin represents and what have you. And, that could be a whole other discussion. I'm sure you and I would have I hope one day you and I are face to face and, we're enjoying a beverage and we can have a long philosophical discussion about this.
Absolutely.
Last question. What advice would you give, just general advice as a founder? And, you're very humble, but I know the level of success and the clients that you worked with and everything. And to me, you are a success. It's just a matter of how successful you want to become and what you're willing to do to get there. As a founder of this type of startup that is like very futuristic and what have you, what advice would you give to the other founders, startups.com, other founders going to be watching this? What advice would you give to them?
I'm sure this is not gonna be new advice, but for me, it's not giving up. It's hard. It has pushed me to my limits mentally, emotionally, physically. I literally want to give up every single day. I'm not gonna lie. It's really, really, really hard. Sometimes I wish I just had more of a normal life, right? Right? But at the end of the day, don't quit, because I feel that if I would have quit one of the many times that I wanted to, I wouldn't be here today. And believe me, I've been through ups and downs. We've been very, very low, in the course journey of our company, and we have ups and downs. And I would say, if you believe in what you're doing, don't quit. There will always be an answer. There will always be something that comes up that uh, makes things better. So take care of yourself. That's something that I've learned as well. Taking care of yourself. Don't burn out. Once you burn out, it's very difficult to come out of that. Don't
Absolutely.
burn out.
Well, we are very fortunate to have you as part of the startups.com community. I love, there's a portion of the founders that are just working on just, earth shifting, ground shaking, crazy futuristic ideas. And then there are ones that are taking those ideas and applying them for real use cases and making them practical. And you live in both worlds. So it's been exciting to watch your growth. And it's been a distinct pleasure to get to know you and spend time with you and fight the battles with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ed.
Let me give one final pitch, and then I'm going to give you the last word. Is if you are interested in exploring the metaverse for your business, nothing stops you from coming to this. I'm going to put the link in the description notes here. Sign up, launch your own metaverse. You saw in my previous video how easy it was. It's easy to sign up, create, give feedback. The more you explore and participate in this type of community, the more you're going to gain that experience and know how to apply to your business. And you might come across some great ideas, some new innovation, maybe different ways versus what you were planning before. And then you can play around with all these tools, and there's just going to be constant expansion. And what a better way than to participate, give feedback so you can participate in the expansion of adding these new features and be part of a great community. I read these FAQs. It's very thorough. Go sign up, try it. And then I'm going to be inviting other founders, join me on there. I'm going to try, different use cases. So I'm fully in. Hassan, last word to you. What else would you have to say?
Thank you for having me, Ed. Please sign up on the website. If anyone has any questions for me, want to talk about the metaverse, about your business, I'm more than happy to speak to anyone. So I don't know if you can put my contact info there.
I will, for sure.
Yep, I'm open to anyone who wants to talk about the metaverse.
Fantastic. Thanks again, Hassan.
Thank you, Ed. Take care.